Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of BizMeds. We are your hosts and neuroscience business coaches. My name is Saad.
And my name is Darris. And if you're just tuning in, just getting to know us, Saad and I help businesses scale. For example, I've scaled a business 30 million in under 18 months without hiring more people. We also help our clients do the same thing. So one of our clients scaled revenue 32% in under 12 months without hiring more people. They actually have way more time now than they've ever had before. And that's what we do. So today we're going to dive into the not so minimum effective dose because sometimes the situation's too far gone. You need to throw everything at it. That's a really nice way to say this is our unplugged.
Yeah.
And
unfiltered,
unplugged, really just kind of like whatever kind of floats about today to talk about all the things that there is no going to be any minimum effective dose. So we're talking about a lot of different things, but it'll all be relevant for you as a business owner. So stick with us as we kind of dive into the world of business. This reminds me of like an old family guy, Peter Griffin. Oh, what grinds your gears?
Tell me what really grinds your gears. One of the things that really grinds my gears is business owners. We've talked about this one a few times, is business owners that don't know how to hire the right people.
Oh,
and
dive into this one right away.
Yeah, I want to get right into it. Yeah, business owners that don't hire right people because they themselves are not the right people or are shitty people.
Mm-hmm. You're going to bring up black shirt Darris today. We haven't had a black shirt moment in a long time, but we're going to dive into it. Yeah, I mean, fuck. If there's been one thing that's consistently like a challenge in businesses, it is, I don't know how many times it is. It's about like, business owners complaining about how terrible their team are and just how hard it is to find good people. And so they hire whoever they can, mm-hmm. and continually do that over and over and over, do the same thing and get the same results and expect something magically different. And I'm like, mm-hmm. why would you expect to get a different result by doing the same thing every time? So I guess let's dive into that one because this is going to fucking get me. I'm already swearing. This is already going to get me going. And it's like, I get it because it is as you grow a business, I think one of the hardest, systems are not hard. And maybe that's unfair for me to say because I think I think I've just developed the skill, started developing that skill earlier rather than later. So it comes more natural to me to develop systems and understand why systems are so important. Like the thing that drives me crazy is that people will find they'll spend so much on marketing to get new clients and they'll have the most fucking boring ads for mm-hmm. people and not understanding that you market to your potential team like you would market to a client. Like the same thing. Like you want to talk about the benefit and all those things. And it's like, how many times you go and you see the most boring fucking ads?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool. You just want to everybody with a pulse and wonder why you have all these really terrible people applying for your fucking jobs. Well, I mean, that's the first part is your ad quality for your people is garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's also the inverse where your salesperson is just selling to anybody and everybody, right? They're just like, I just want to make some money. I don't care who buys it. I don't care if it's the right, ideal client.
Okay, let's dive to the
profile.
Fucking heart of this one. Yeah. And the heart of this one is, you said it, it's your business is a reflection of you, where you are and who you bring into your business is a reflection of you. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm not saying that to be anything other than pull your head out of your ass and be okay with it. Just recognize that you didn't come into this world knowing how to run a business. And there are certain skills you have to upskill to get better at. And this is one of them. And I know I lived through this. I've had to hire hundreds of people. I've actually had to interview hundreds of people. So I've had the reps in this, so I understand it intimately. and this is one of the areas I'm really kind of like, that really gets me, because when you see the difference of hiring anybody versus being very particular in who you bring in, your business feels the immediate effect of that. And I would venture a guess that we've all lived in businesses that have hired really shitty people, and you're like, why the fuck am I even here? Like, if we allow this, like, that behavior is allowed, then what is the point?
Yeah.
And I would say one of the first solutions that you can put into place is having core values.
Mm-hmm.
And this will feel like it's not a really useful use of time, but it actually is an immensely valuable use of time for a couple of reasons. One is it forces you to get real with the level of game that you want to play.
Yeah.
So, back in the day, I think when I first started coaching, I used a framework from Blair Singer, and it was the code of honor. And that was like, and he had a whole thing around how do you build a code of honor. And the idea was like, go back to that idea of content and context, right? Like, a code of honor or core values is what holds the team together when the heat comes on, right? And holds everything together in the business. So it's, are you drinking from a plastic bottle or from a ceramic mug that can withstand heat? And that's the idea. So as a quick visual, I'm going to talk really fast through this, so I apologize. But it was and that was rooted in a lot of the Marine Corps, and, the idea, like, you never leave a man behind. It's the glue that really solidifies a team. And it was like, and if that's the level of game that you're coming into, it's much easier that when shit happens, like the heat comes on, like, competition heats up, and like you're feeling stress in the business, like we always know that we have each other. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have those, then everyone's making up their own rules. It's a free for all. And then we all wonder why there are different standards and expectations for everybody in the business, which is why the sales guy can go sell to whoever fucking wants, right? There's no accountability. There's no like, whatever, man. Like, there's no repercussions.
Just need to make money. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. You can go hire anybody that has a pulse, because how do you convey to them? How do you communicate to them what you stand for? Mm-hmm. And I now have focused that way more down to like 3 to 4 core values. And that was, again, it's much harder to maintain. Like, if you got a list of 10 core values, like, that's a fucking lot. It's like, oh my God, it's a lot. So it's like, it's been gradually whittling down over the years. So like, hey, let's like focus it way more in, because like, what are we really trying to distill our core values to? And it's like 3 or 4 like key things. Alex and Layla Hermosi do a great one, and say they have 3, and that embodies who they, it's like, here's what we stand for and embody. Our clients usually have like 3 to 5 in there, and it allows them to say, okay, because part of the challenge is when you bring someone in, here's what we stand for. These are the things that who the people that we want in our business are. And that's the first kind of major filter you can like just put in, mm-hmm. in as a, we can immediately filter people out because they're not willing to play that level of game.
Yeah.
You can stop me anytime, because I feel like I'm just going.
Well, the thing is, like, so the reason why I am a little frustrated about this whole topic or wanted to talk about this topic, is because, we see it every single day. We have shitty leaders that are constantly hiring, shitty people, and then they'll look back, they'll fire that person because they're not delivering on the way they want them to. And then they'll do the same thing, rinse and repeat. And every single time they'll look back, it's like, well, that was a shitty person. I shouldn't have done these things. And then they never incorporate those things appropriately. And we talked about this in our last podcast, is like the hindsight versus foresight. It's a very vague terminology, but, applies to a lot of things. If you can always look back and figure out what you did wrong, it's a little too late, right? If you can spend some time and understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish as a leader and what you want in your business, that's going to get you, if you, again, just take 20, 30 minutes before you make that decision, it'll just get you a little further than it would just being, reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah. I mean, so I would say, the thing that came to mind when you were talking about do the same thing over. Is if I had a shit shotgun, it's like we just see what sticks to the wall, and without any learning of, oh, this seems to be a recurring thing. How do I fix it? It's just, oh, this is just the way it is. And I don't know how many like business owners and people talk to, and they just accept that is the way of the world. And I was like, no, there's many examples of like great organizations out there that don't allow that to happen. And why? Is because they have fucking standards. But they also hold themselves to the same standard. So like having core values, why it's so important is because it also forces you to not only decide what level of game that you want to play, but the level of game that you're going to play, and you as the owner. And it's for everyone. And that's why it's so important, is that like all of those things are super important. And then when you're interviewing people, like this is how you actually put this into practice, is when I sit you down and said, oh, Saad, you're interested in joining our team. Well, let me just quickly tell you about like what we stand for as an organization. And so I go through those and like, this is what this means to us. And this is how these play out every day. So before we go any further, like, is that something that you believe that you could commit to and could strive for every day? Yes or no? And by the way, if you say no, it doesn't make you a bad person, right? Like this is not being good person versus bad person. We're looking about fit. And so if you can't, then that's okay, because at the end of the day, if you say you can and you don't, well, then I'm going to be really frustrated, right? Because I have this expectation of you. Mm-hmm. But if you know right now that you can't, and that's not something that you can subscribe to, that's fine. No harm, no foul, right? Then we can just part ways, and it's okay, because then we both save ourselves frustration. And that's kind of what we want to do first and foremost. Mm-hmm. And that's how I like structured so many interviews now, is because I'm setting that standard up on the front end, saying, here's the level that we play to. Do you commit to playing to that? I get that commitment up front, so I know. And then it's another process. But like as a filter, that's why like those core values are so important. So if you don't have them, you should probably spend some time getting them, because like you're going to continue to do the same thing over and over. And then now that's how you leverage that into an interview when you're talking to people, and you can really dramatically weed out people. You can use that in your ads for positions and things like, here's our core values. This is what it means to us. So you're like telling them already, like, this is a level of standard, and most people won't even apply because they will deselect themselves. So you'll get maybe less, but your quality of applicant will go up. Mm-hmm. And then, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think, so the other thing I also struggle in that part is if you identify somebody that can deliver on that level, but they've never done it before, and you don't give them the tools to be successful, and then you're constantly like, well, you're doing a shit job, and not helping them through it, that in itself is also a different type of failure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I hired you to do this job. I have these expectations, but my expectations weren't clearly communicated to you. But what I say is, and I'm very clear about this in interviews, I say, look, I'm here to build a world-class organization. What does that mean? And I asked them, like, what does that, when I say that, like, what does that mean to you? Like, what are the things that when I say world-class organization and world-class, we want to be world-class, like, what does that mean to you? And I get them to tell me. So I now unbundle that term from them. I start to understand what is, like, because when I say world-class, like, what I think that means doesn't necessarily translate to what they think it means. But in most cases, we say words and they're bundled. They have all these additional things that we infer meaning from. And if we're not operating from the same definition, we're going to be misaligned right from the get-go.
Absolutely.
So I'm very purposeful in unbundling that term. And then I say, okay, here's what world-class means for us. And then I go through, like, this is what it means to be world-class. Is that something that you would aspire to do and work for? If not, again, no harm, no foul. If they agree to that, it's like, cool. Now, here's the most important part of all this, right? Like, so in our endeavor to be world-class, like, what's your responsibility? And I asked them, like, what do they feel their responsibility is? And I said, okay, well, what about these things? They're like, and they asked them, well, what's my responsibility? And it's usually like, well, I don't know. I said, okay, well, here's my responsibility. We need to get to world-class. Well, my responsibility in this relationship to you is I need to provide you with the training, the tools, the coaching, the mentoring, all the things that get you there, right? Like all of these things. That's my responsibility in this situation. What your responsibility is to bring the desire and the implementation of all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Because listen, you come to the table, you bring all the desire, but I don't bring any of the tools and all that things. Good. You're going to be frustrated because I didn't deliver for you.
Yeah.
Right. Inversely is I bring all of these things for you and you don't bring any of the desire. Well, I'm going to be frustrated because you said you wanted to play this level of game, but you're not doing any of the things.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, like this is where we start to level set on the expectation of like, hey, I'm not just pointing my finger at you. That's not how we work here because I'm now aligned with my core values. I'm going to give you the instruction. And I always tell them, like, I say, look, we endeavor for this, but that doesn't mean every step we take forward is a perfect step. We were going to a left foot and a right foot, right foot and a left foot, not a right foot and a wrong foot. That means we're going to make decisions and we're going to step forward. But sometimes we have to course correct. We're not going to hit 100% every time. There's no, like, that's an unreal expectation. So like we need both grace and understanding on both sides of the situation, but we're here to work with you. We're not just going to like, and then like in terms of like being able to like really focus a conversation around that, like that's how you set fucking expectations. That's how you unbundle meanings in an interview. That's how you start to appeal to someone on a level that's bigger than them. So if you're sick and tired of getting shitty people in your fucking organization, you got to scale your fucking game and get your shit together. You have to get your house in order first. Mm-hmm. Like you have to do the fucking work. You have to get your core values lined up. You have to understand who the fuck you are, what you stand for, and be okay that like not everyone out there deserves to have a position in your organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is where I don't mean to say like you need to have one or the other between the hindsight and the foresight. They both have.
They work together.
They work together, right? And this is where, you know, I love where you said that, you know, you need to course correct, constantly course correct throughout your business journey.
Yes.
You know, every 2 months, every 3 months, you look back and then you figure out what you need to do next and like what the data is saying or whatever the performance has been and like how do we now improve that? And this is where you start layering, like, obviously you're, as a leader, you can't just delegate without purpose. You just have to have a plan. You need to work with your team. You need to work with your organization and have like the right type of conversations where you're now like, you know, utilizing the drip matrix, you're utilizing the, the Eisenhower matrix and figuring out like what is working, what is not working, and where are we headed towards? What are we trying to do? And you have to be honest, like you have to be brutally honest with yourself to understand like if you are the problem, you need to make those changes as well. You need to be vulnerable with yourself. You need to be vulnerable with your team to help them or create an environment where they feel comfortable to tell you that, you know, some of the things that you've come up with are not working.
Yes. Understanding that doesn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. I've shared this example or shared the story before where like as a parent, as a divorced parent, and now understanding that like your young children, like your children up to a certain age have experienced you a certain way. And just because you have an epiphany and you start to, I need to adjust how I behave, that doesn't undo all of their learned behaviors and their pattern recognition of you in that time. So like as a young parent, right? Cause I had kids very young. I was emotionally reactive because that's what I knew. That's what I had experienced. This is not in like it's good or bad. I'm just talking in facts of like, I grew up learn that like emotional responses. Right. And so that's what I exhibited as a young parent. And then it wasn't until after I was able to start separating like, oh wow, like I'm actually contributing to these situations because of my response and situation. And if I want to have a really long-term grounded, as great foundation for a relationship with my children is I need to be less emotionally like reactive. Mm-hmm. I can still have emotion. I'm not taking away the emotion, but I'm like, I need to be less reactive to them and creating an unsafe place. So it's the same thing exists with our people. It's like, you've maybe done things a certain way, but just because one day you learn something, you maybe listen to this podcast, you're like, well, fuck, I go and I slam doors. I was notorious for that. right? In the fucking office, and I'd be pissed off. I'd slam the fucking door, and then my team didn't know if they're getting Jekyll or Hyde. The one thing that I fucking hated in leaders, I was doing, and I was like, but it took a lot of fucking time to decouple that and relearn the behavior for me, myself, not to react that way, but also for them to start understand that I was way more reined in and they were and create that space. It doesn't happen just like that. So that's why like this whole topic of like, you know, like, hindsight, foresight, like doing the same thing, expecting different results, but like it boils down to you as the fucking entrepreneur, as a business owner, as the person. And like you got to this point of the game with a certain level of skills and things like that, but that doesn't fucking get you to the next level of game. Like you have to break through these things. You don't get to the next level of the game, whatever that is for you, without addressing some of this stuff. And you have to level up, right? Like if I look back when I first started coaching or whatever it is, like the level of coaching now that my clients get is fucking like 1,000,000% better, right? Because I continue to upscale and start and continue to learn, like understanding that what got me to this point isn't going to fucking carry me through. It will keep me at that level.
Yeah.
I have to continue to address all of those things. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but any stretch of the imagination, right? But that's the continual growth of, okay, what now do I need to like build on and improve and things like that. And that hiring thing is like, those are, and if you play that out, like if you continue to play that pattern out, like if you start to change the way you hire and you build your core values, you start bringing on great people and you start building and bringing people that are better than you because you're way more confident. You have that confidence now that you like, hey, like keep your ego in check. Like the whole idea is you want to surround yourself with really fucking smart people. You don't want to hire not as smart people, because then that person, and then you put them in hiring people, they're going to hire not as smart people. And then all of a sudden your brain power just starts to drop off immensely.
Yeah.
It's like, but then we start to flip that whole thing on its end. It starts to go the other way because we now empower great people to go find fucking great people. Like that's what's going to separate you from all of your competition in the long run. That's going to help you scale. But like it all comes back to you because your business is the state of you. And if you're hiring shitty people, it's because you just, I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this is why you have your Bezoses, your Musks, your Hormozis, they're so successful, is because they built systems that you can plug in the right people, they can come in and they can improve those systems and at least have a starting point to kind of work from. A lot of times, like, you know, we talked about this in our last episode, it's like, you know, you have your leaders that come in and they're like, you know what, I'm going to bring you in, delegate this whole portion of the business to you, and not giving them any context. So to me, it's always like, I had a really good conversation with you. I understand what you need. And then I'm like, all right, now X person, go figure this out for me.
Yeah.
And they have no insight onto the conversation. And I haven't given them the proper handoff on what they need to do and what they need to deliver on. So how the heck do I expect that person to be successful? And then on top of that, you add this whole, that manager, the person, the owner, the business, you know, entrepreneur is getting pissed off at his employee because they didn't deliver the right results that they were looking for.
Yeah. Because they don't know how to communicate.
Yeah.
Right. So you layer that on. So you talk about another skill that you start to upgrade is your communication skills. So that's when I say crucial conversations, learn the fucking skill of communicating and communicating well.
Yeah.
So we talk about that why do I ask the questions of the people I'm interviewing is because I'm just this fake person over here.
Yeah. I thought I saw something fly by.
Yeah. Why do I ask the people like these questions? It's because I need to unbundle what they think that means, because I know that like it's on me to now help them start to do that, because they've probably never had anyone kind of unbundle what that means or ask someone. And so we would go through a whole interview and what they think they're communicating to me and what I think I hear. we think we're aligned, but we're like going in two separate directions.
Yeah.
And so that's why like that communication skill. So
Yeah.
I didn't
Alignment
go off, I
is
didn't go as
definitely
completely off the rails as I thought I might.
No, it was really good.
So I think that's a lot. I mean, like, it was actually we thought we were gonna go like in a lot of places.
Yeah.
We actually kind of focused.
So even though we said that there is no minimum effective dose for today's podcast, the minimum effective dose for today's podcast is that you are responsible for everything that happens around you. And we've said this, numerous times, is that this journey is not easy. Anybody that is an entrepreneur, it's not easy. This is hard. And this is why we are here to help you, show you, and talk about the real life examples of that. The shit is, we've been through it. The shit that you're going through, we know about it. So we try to provide as much examples as we can to help you understand.
To help you move through it faster.
Yeah.
It will not change how it feels going through it, but hopefully you get to go through it much more quickly and leverage ours and our clients' experience through that. So I think we'll end it there. It's probably a good place.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us. This is BizMeds. We're your hosts. My name is Darris.
And I'm Saad.
And we're here to give you the not so minimum effective dose today. This was kind of like the throw the book at everything. And to our moms who've been here since the very beginning, thank you so much, Mom. Saad's mom, love you. Thank you. If you've been just joining us or you've been with the long haul, thank you so much. We're not sponsored. We don't get paid to do this. So if you found it entertaining at the very least, or you learned something, please share it with someone, one person. That's all you ask. We're not sponsored. So as Andy Frisella says, if you don't know him, don't be a hoe, share the show. That's all we ask. And, if you're looking to reclaim some real time, because these things that we talk about, you're feeling that one of your big challenges, you don't have enough time to be able to sit down and think about these. Well, then we have the tool for you, which is our absolutely free masterclass down below, which is Burnout to Breakthrough, where you invest 57 minutes of your time and what you get back is 2 days every week for the rest of your life. So go ahead, invest in yourself, click the link below, register. It's completely free. And that's what we can do for you. And it will give you the time and energy to be able to attack things like this and make sure they work in your business. And remember, at the end of all of it, you're just one day away from the life you've always dreamed about. We're going to see you in the next episode.